I will literally start a revolution right there.
So is mega associated with what is that? Liberalism or conservatism? Associated. That's how you spell it? Okay, associated with conservatism. Is that a word, bro? No. Conservatism. Make it with conservatism. Oh, conservatism. Hey, conservatism. Okay, my bad. Conservatism versus mega conservatism. What the fuck? Is it conservative or liberal, bro? The mega joint. You feel me? That whole philosophy. Ideology. Okay, conservatism is an ideology emphasizing traditional values, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so since mega was like, you know what I'm saying, some Trump shit. Trump is more progressive, right? So Trump is more liberal. What are we talking
because
about?
You cannot
did not go to Mexican
My bad, yo.
If I ever see a MAGA person in a Mexican restaurant, I will literally start a revolution right there. Because you cannot tell me that you voted for people who, whether they are citizens or not, to get deported out of this country to Mexico, and also voted for tariffs against Mexico, where we get a large majority of our
So that's like traditionalist thought, right?
avocados to just
so mega traditionalist.
Mexican restaurants.
Conservative.
You voted that way. You cannot go with your little girly pops and get chips and queso and margaritas and be like, this and girl time. Like, no. You don't get to do that. You lost that right to do that. You do not get to enjoy Mexican food, Mexican culture, anything related to Mexico. If you
yes, that makes sense.
If you voted for Donald Trump, you do not get to enjoy an all-inclusive resort in Tulum or, I don't know.
Alright, but obviously that has a lot of ignorance to it, I ain't gonna lie.
Mexico. You do not get to do that. You should not be allowed to do that. I think Mexico should be able to pull and see how did you vote. And if you voted for Donald Trump, you are not allowed in their country because you do not get to benefit off of Mexican culture and Mexican experiences, including Mexican travel and vacations, when you voted for Donald Trump. You don't. You can't vote against people and a culture that you want to take advantage of because you're a rich white person. No, it's not how it works.
Okay, so I do get the point she's making. It's a little bit giving who's gonna scrub your toilets, Donald Trump. It's giving that a little bit because when she's talking about Mexican culture, she's just talking about like food in Cancun and Tulum. But I get what she's saying. A lot of people have Mexican experiences by going to Mexican restaurants and I guess vacationing in Tulum and Cancun. Now, it's missing the glaring observation that there are Mexican individuals who voted for Donald Trump. That is correct. I don't know why you use a southern accent to say that, but there are.
For real, though? Wait, how can we make sure of that, though?
Indeed, Mexican people who voted for Donald Trump. In fact, he flipped the Latino vote like crazy this last go-around.
Are there statistics that can, like, show that?
She have to say to that? When she says they're deporting people, whether or not they're citizens or not, incorrect. We're just looking to deport people who are in this country illegally. And even more so than that, this administration is starting with people who are criminals in this country. And not just the civil infraction of entering the country illegally, but actually going on to commit crimes in this country beyond being in the country illegally. And there are plenty of Mexican people who came to this country legally or who were born in this country who, you know what, they agree with that. So can your girl still go to a Mexican restaurant with her girly pops and have a margarita? I think so. Next. All right, I don't know what this next one's about, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Let's watch.
I've had this thought swirling around in my head for probably months at this point, but I've just now been able to really put words to it, and I want to tell you.
You know, people these days are so fucking confusing, bro. Because obviously, bro, first impressions, bro, yo, that's why first impressions, like, they matter. Because, you know, how am I gonna receive the message that you're about to, like, put to me if I can't even like establish your gender, my nigga? You feel me? And this is not no like shaming of anything, but it's like, okay, say, you know what I'm saying, they, because I'm not gonna say he or she or whatever. I see there's a little beard there, but I'm not even gonna take the risk. So let's say they came out with a story where it's like victimizing and shit like that. If, you know what I'm saying, if it's like, yo bro, okay, you're part of the proud gang, right? But then I want to know which standpoint you come from, because if biologically you're a female, then that makes sense in terms of empathy, sympathy, things like that. Females, it's easier for, I don't know, but that's like just how the human psychology and brain is set up, and that's how it works, right? So it's like, for the sake of that, bro, it will be easier for me to give you shit like sympathy and understand your victimization, understand your vulnerability. But if you're a guy biologically, and then maybe, you know what I'm saying, right now you're on the other side type shit, on some proud gang type shit, then it, you know what I'm saying, Sarah, how you doing? I'm good. Yo, you know what I'm saying? It's like, then I don't know, because with a man, bro, I feel like with a man, when you give even things like tough love, they can understand. I feel like it's just ignorance, bro, because let's say this one right here, right? Let's say they just not used to a tough love, like manly, masculine type of love. Maybe you just give them that, they'll understand life a little bit more. A lot of pressure will be lifted off and shit like that. You feel me? And you know what I mean, etc. So now, if I'm confused like this, I don't even know where to start. Real shit.
I think one of the strangest things about living in America as a police state, and also one of the easiest things that we could just get rid of and would fix a lot of problems, would be to just not let officers take their police vehicles home with them. Like,
what?
I know that there is a police officer that lives in my neighborhood. You know how I know? Because they have their police vehicle in their front driveway all of the time. Stop giving cops the ability to use intimidation in their own home when they're supposed to be considered a civilian at that point.
So a cop car is intimidating to you?
I mean, I don't know that I necessarily feel strongly about this particular topic anyways. I think there are a lot of police departments or police stations where cops do leave their police vehicles at the station and then they go home in their regular car. Me personally, okay, if I'm living in a neighborhood and there is a police car that's parked a couple houses down or whatever, I am thanking my lucky stars, okay? Because I feel like I live in a place where if somebody was up to no good, you know, up to a little bit of tomfoolery, a little bit of mischievousness, okay? They might see that cop car and, you know, just hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, so there's bright sides to it that they, you know what I'm saying, they missed.
In my neighborhood, I guess this young woman feels intimidated by that because she believes we live in a police state, which is just something that I think has been just thrown into the air since Donald Trump got elected this last time around. Honey, we do not live in a police state. I don't know, do just a little bit of reading about police states at this moment and then get back to me on that one. But you're good. Next. Oh, this next one is bringing up Little Miss Sydney Sweeney and her eugenics.
Do you think with that previous one it was just like ignorant paranoia? You know what I'm saying? It's ignorant paranoia. And then obviously it's like, yo, nah, you have to understand their POV, man. Come on, understand them. They're female. Hey, that's what they identify as. Because I'm still even confused. Like, I don't know, bro. So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta protect them. Like, they're vulnerable. They're weak. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Good genes passed on to offspring? That American Eagle ad to Sydney Sweeney is literally overt eugenics. I know you don't want to hear this, but if you want to talk about how that ad is promoting eugenics, which it absolutely is, we also have to talk about how choosing not to wear a mask when you can during an ongoing pandemic, because you're okay with a certain subset of people, primarily disabled people of color, dying for your own comfort, is also eugenics. Just the more normalized kind. Bye.
Whoa!
I think that was sarcasm, though.
It's like leftist inception, woke inception. We got multiple messages mixed in here. We started off with the good/great genes from Sydney Sweeney, which is not eugenics, and it's not a message promoting eugenics. You can check out my whole video that I did on that. I don't think I want to unpack that all over again. But apparently, if you don't wear a mask, that means you're okay with certain groups of people losing their lives, and that makes you a eugenicist. Do we really need to go through this whole song and dance? Again, you guys know how I feel about masks. Mask mandates. I don't agree with this young woman whatsoever. You're not a eugenicist, Nazi, white supremacist, or anything of the sort because you feel like the government shouldn't be able to mandate that you wear a mask over your face at all times. We went through this whole back and forth over masks and whether or not they work, whether or not you should be able to mandate that for people. We went through the negative impact of what wearing masks did for just human beings in general, but for children and their development. It's a whole ass mess. Wear one if you want to wear one. That's where I stand. Okay, next, we're gonna stay on our Sydney Sweeney genetics thing, because apparently there's a second ad talking about genetics that people got all up in arms about, so let's watch.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan? Genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer.